All right, so we are live now, Drew.
That's good. You know, I thought we were live like 5 minutes ago.
We're just gonna take down the little warning sign, and there. Now we're front and center. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you survived the time change if you're in the States. I had a little problem with it, but I always do going back and forth. I think this one I like better though, this time change. I don't like the fallback.
You really?
Yeah, I like the extra daylight.
Oh, I always like the extra sleep.
Well, that always seems like the longest day. Yesterday's the shortest day. Fall back, it's like you're, Groundhog Day, except you're reliving that hour. But see, I could see where you would like the extra sleep.
Yeah, that extra hour is pretty awesome. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it's just another hour of work.
That's true.
But I hope to get better at that. Managing my time to where I'm not working so much. But to be honest, I got to get better paying gigs in order to do that.
Well, that's we all need that,
Yeah. Once that happens, if it ever, then at least I'll probably cut back on how much I take on. I'm about to go on vacation, so I've been on a mad dash of getting stuff done. At least in 2 weeks, I'll be in Vermont the first week of April. So,
well, is it a working vacation?
oh, I'm always working, sir. Only day I won't be working is the day I drive up there. So,
right.
Yeah, it's always working, and plus, like, we're going up there. This isn't your usual, like, go out of town, go to theme parks, and this is like visiting family who live up there. I mean, we're staying at a resort, but we're mainly just there to hang out with them.
Right.
They're still in school and working. Their spring break is different than ours, just like yours is different. So they're still working and stuff. So we won't be able to do stuff with them until they get off of work. And Vermont's also pretty cool at the beginning of April. There may even be snow still on the ground.
I'm sure there might be.
And that sucks. I hate snow.
That's why I live in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I get it. But, like, I got so sick of driving in it. Like people in the South, they just don't understand what snow is.
I understand. That's why I don't live there.
Yeah, it's like horrible.
I don't live anywhere near snow.
When I lived in West Virginia as a child, for a little bit, the snow was just snow. Like, it didn't matter. It was just snow. Here it snows like half an inch, and it looks like Mad Max Fury Road out there. There's like cars abandoned on the side of the road left and right. I was like, what is going on right now? It takes like 4 hours to get 20. A 20-minute drive takes 4 hours. It's ridiculous.
People panic.
Yeah, they do. They just don't know how to handle it here. And that's weird because where I live is very transient. Because we have like 5 or 6 military bases here.
Right.
So it's still, but you can't account for the people who are born here, which outnumber the military. They just don't know how to drive in the snow, or or maybe they're panicking. I don't know. And I grew up here, but I was used to snow because I would go to West Virginia for holidays, and usually the holidays are in the winter months, and I don't know. I just got used to driving in snow. I feel like once you learn how to drive in snow, you kind of got it. Like, you like instinctively go, okay, I gotta slow down a little. Keep track of my traction and stuff. Pump the brakes more. When you're in a slide, don't slam your brakes on.
I learned to drive in snow out of not wanting to stay at a hotel for another 3 hours or 4 hours. I was actually going up to Connecticut to visit Zach, and I would always try to get past Washington or get stop right before it.
Yeah, because DC traffic is horrible.
Right, and I would, if I got past it, I was okay, and if I didn't get past it, I would just wake up extremely early, get on the road at 4 a.m. or something like that and miss it.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that, but one morning I woke up and I think I was right before DC, and I was oblivious to the lobby, and I went to check out of my room, and turned in my keys, told the lady I'm checking out, and I turned to walk out the door, and then it kind of hit me like all these people are in the lobby. It still didn't occur to me what had happened. And so I went to the door, and suddenly I see like white outside. And some guy said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Oh," I said, "I don't know. I guess nowhere, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." Now he was from New York.
Yeah, so he was used to snow.
Yeah. But it was bad, the streets or the highways hadn't been, properly, I don't know.
Plowed.
Yeah, so everybody was kind of, waiting.
Yeah.
And that was a funny thing is I just was oblivious to everything.
You're just like, man, I'm just gonna go out in it.
Yeah. And until I went to open the door, and it's like I just see this like
white out.
White. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, you gotta wait till it stops snowing at least.
Well, it did. It was stopped, but everything was covered. And
like a couple feet or like a foot or so.
I'll say a foot.
Yeah.
It was enough to where nobody was going to go. And then after about 3 hours, that guy from New York said, I'm going. He goes, they should have, we really didn't have any. I don't remember having any reports from the highway patrol or anything like it was safe to go, but I didn't care. He said he was going, and that kind of gave me
a little courage.
Yeah, even though there's nothing to back that courage up because I'd never driven in snow. So I actually asked him, I said, "Hey, is it okay if I follow you? Like that's going to help."
Yeah, you just get stuck together.
Yeah, and he said, "I don't care what you do, and he said, "Have you ever driven in snow?" And I said, "No." He goes, "We're not going to go very fast." And I said, "That's fine." I said, "I'm just tired." I was like him. I was tired of sitting in the hotel lobby doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
going fast is the worst thing you could do in snow.
Do what?
Going fast on snow.
Yeah, no, I was going to say we literally drove he actually started going a little bit faster. I think he kind of had a better feel for it, but
yeah.
I was probably doing 20 to 25 miles an hour for about 3 hours.
Yeah, we used to I had a pickup, a Toyota pickup, 82 Toyota pickup was my first. It's my dad abandoned truck. And every winter I would buy rocks to put in the bed.
Uh-huh.
Like bags of rocks to put weight in the back. So when it snowed.
That's a good idea, because let me tell you what I was driving, Drew.
What was that?
A 1973 El Camino.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you needed some weight in the back.
I had no weight in the back.
Yeah, because, yeah, you'll start fishtailing and stuff.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, you got to, every year, it was like clockwork. I'd go, oh, time to go buy some rocks. And my friends that I skateboarded with, they would complain because I had this, like, board that, like a plank that would separate from the wheel well to the cabin, just that small area, and that would be full of, like, rocks.
Right.
And that's, somewhere they couldn't sit. They'd have to sit on the end of they didn't like, because I didn't have a tailgate. I had a net that acted as a tailgate, one of those net tailgates.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I got the car like that, so I don't know if my father had gotten in a car. I don't know. All I know that it didn't have a tailgate. So,
well, some people just use the net, and what happens is, you take the tailgate off, you put it in a garage, and I don't know, you move around, or you buy the car from someone, they don't have the tailgate, and
yeah. So yeah,
but I remember the nets. Yeah.
This is when you were allowed to like have people in the back.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Nope.
But yeah, back in the day, I'd have like 10, 15 people in the back. My wheels would be scraping on the wheel well. So many people in the back. And that's on the interstate, Like, it's crazy. I got pulled over once. They were like, you can't, like, that's too many, man. I didn't get a ticket or anything. But they did tell me that I had to get off on the next exit and just drive in the city, get some of the people home.
Yeah, just start dropping them off it.
They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, you can, because like I did it.
I've been doing it.
Yeah.
you can, but you're telling me legally I can't.
Yeah, it was. I think a lot of things were super dangerous and that we didn't realize. Like, I used to sleep in the back window of the car. Like, as a kid, I'd fit up there and just lay down and fall asleep. Yeah, that's crazy dangerous. My parents, my mom would just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, at least he's quiet.
It's funny. Yeah, I think, because I still see like around here we'll have yard service people, and they'll have a truck, and they'll have some of their workers sitting in the back.
Yeah.
And I've never seen cops pull them over. So I think it's just a matter of how aggressive the officer is going to be.
Yeah, it's probably just one of those things, like, he's pulling you over for speeding, so if he wants to compound it, he'll go, well, you had two people in the back as well, so I'll give you a ticket for that. Like, because some cops will do that. They'll pull you over and be like, oh, I caught you speeding, but you also have the inspection sticker and your seatbelt was off and this and that. Like, they just add more to it.
Yep.
It would normally, they would just let you go on the, but since you're there.
Well, that's the, Florida, you all probably have the mandatory seatbelt.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and now in Florida, and I think it's been a couple years, if a cop sees you not wearing your seatbelt, he can pull you over just for that. And that's something new. Before before he had to have a reason to pull you over.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just not wearing your seatbelt, they can pull you over and give you a ticket.
Yeah, they have that here. It's been like that since the 90s. Where usually what would happen, even though they could pull you over for the seatbelt, they wouldn't unless they like I knew guys who the cop just wanted to search his car.
Right.
So he pulled him over for a seatbelt just so he could get closer. And then when he got closer, he would ask to search the car or whatnot. It was never really about the seatbelt, but they're allowed to pull you over for that here. it was just like a gateway to like get you on other things.
Right.
And every person I knew that happened to, they didn't have anything. Like,
I know.
but it was just like they were profiled. Maybe they had Bob Marley stickers or, and I always said that, like, if you're gonna have like pot leaves and stuff on your car,
Yeah, you're
like,
just asking to be
like or dancing bears or something. Like, yeah, I mean, they're gonna ask to search your car whether you have something or not. And is it right? No, but like you kind of put yourself out there like that, and I get it. Like you can't be like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Well, yeah, well, I can.
We have Lloyd and the Geeks Mania saying hello this morning, Drew.
Hello.
And looks like Lloyd must be watching from his phone. He's on YouTube, and Geeks Mania is on Periscope. And I was actually going to mention that I might quit doing the Periscope because I'd rather have the views on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we'll
Lloyd,
see.
how are your parents, Lloyd? I know you got into that car accident, or they got into the drunk driver hit them, right? I saw drunk driver hit Lloyd's parents, and they were injured.
Man.
Yeah, that sucks, man. My grandfather had I think a drunk driver hit Lloyd's parents, but my grandfather was on the way here from West Virginia, and a car jumped over a median on the interstate and smashed into them while they were on the way here. So, yeah, it was it sucks, but it was a dune buggy too that hit them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dune buggy, and this was in the 80s. So even then, a dune buggy, really? Like,
yeah, maybe the 70s. It would have been,
Yeah, this was like it was the early 80s, like 82, 83.
I'm only laughing because it's like a dune buggy, really,
Yeah, I mean, like legit dune buggy. Yep, jumped over the median and hit him almost dead on, like head on. Totaled their car. My grandfather got a bunch of cuts on his hands because the windshield like hit his hands. My grandmother, she was fine. Bruises on her neck and stuff from the seatbelt, but but apparently the guy in the dune buggy he took the brunt of it. I don't know. Like, I was probably 7, so I don't really know status. I didn't know. Only thing I knew is what I could see.
Right.
Because as a kid, no one tells you anything.
Let's see. Formerly Rod Line is in and says, Drew, the stuff you've been posting on Instagram has been very inspiring.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. That's really kind of you.
And Rod, if we get a break here in an hour or so, I'm going to have Drew talk us through that beautiful red skull he did.
It's already packed up, ready to be mailed.
Well, but I've got it keyed up on your progress shots.
Oh yeah.
So I could share my screen, and you could talk through the inking, through your various phases, kind of how you approached it, if you want. If you feel like going there, sir.
Yeah, that's fine.
I love that you did those progress shots of it.
Yeah, somebody asked me. They're like, "Hey, like I know you have it posted, but could you put them together?" And I added an extra because I took an extra shot because the guy who commissioned it, he wasn't asking, but I knew he liked that stuff, possibly. So I like had a couple extra pictures that I hadn't posted because like sometimes I feel like I'm spamming people. Like like they don't need to see like my stuff all the time, or they get sick of seeing it.
People love to see the process.
Yeah, I know, but I have this like. I don't know. I'm an odd bird. I just feel like I don't want to bug people like constantly because I do post a lot. Um,
Yeah, but as long as it's good stuff and people are requesting it. By the way, look at yourself. You like to see people in like maybe their pencils, maybe they've got it half inked and then completed or whatever, right?
yeah, I do love that.
Yeah, see? Everybody loves it. I don't think it's ever spammy. I think it's, I think it's cool. And I think everybody would agree with me on that.
Yeah.
And when I opened up and saw that on Twitter, I was just like, bang. I was like,
I had a really good response. Like I
yeah,
said, there's some people that I admire that were being super nice about it.
well, it really seemed like you went a next level on that,
Thank you. I don't know. It's like you get these ideas, you know? You're like, I don't know if this is going to pan out the way I want it.
Right.
But, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. And the thing was, the guy, I did this other Red Skull, and it didn't come out the way I wanted, even though people seem to like it. It didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. I liked it, but it didn't feel like the things I tried didn't work out exactly like I wanted. So on this one, it did work. I tried the other option I had in my head, like with the cube, with the black background,
Right.
with a more muted color palette. And then you do notice the eyes. Yeah, I played with the eyes some. So
Yeah.
It was just more of a successful outing that time.
It happened.
Yeah, I mean, I was also kind of rushing, so I didn't overthink it.
I couldn't tell that it was rushed. I thought you were like, throwing down on that one.
No, it was. I remember I told you earlier. I was trying to hang out with a friend that night,
Right.
but I had to get out so much work in order to not feel guilty and enjoy myself. So that was one of the things, and my wife was actually out shopping for groceries because she was going to make a Filipino dish. So she went out shopping with friends. So I also had a limited time period because once she got back, I was going to go. So yeah, it worked out good though because I finished that one way early.
Yeah. Yeah, Rod says they do sell 500 series. Is it 500 series or 400 with the mixed media gray paper?
Hopefully it's not 300.
No, it's because the little pads I use are the
Yeah, I have a sketch one here. It sucks.
They're 400.
Yeah, I hate this paper.
But the gray
sketch one.
You can buy a 9x12
like that
gray pad, tone gray. Yeah, now that's 400, right?
Yeah, it's 400 and it sucks.
Does it?
I just don't like it. It's super thin. Like
I thought it was heavier.
No. I just ripped a piece out. Like that's like crap. It's like almost like typing paper. It's just like a little bit above that. Like the Canson paper is twice as heavy as this, if not more. Yeah, this is. I just don't like it. It's so smooth.
Okay, Rod is saying 400 gray and tan. So
yeah,
that's what. And you got the vellums?
No, well, this one isn't. See, that's what you were saying. You had mixed media. This isn't mixed media. This is just sketch paper. It's like medium surface.
Oh, yeah, no, they make like a heavier weight.
Yeah, I need it. I'll try that, but that sketch paper is garbage. Unless you're just sketching.
I think now I'm gonna have to look it up because I did.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just really wanted the gray for myself. And let's see. Lloyd did say that. Let's see. I think I need to scroll up.
Oh, that sucks. His mom's there for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Did you read that?
Yeah, I hope they get better, Lloyd. I'm sorry
Yeah,
you
me
have to go
too.
through that. It sucks, man.
Let me see here, because I was looking at some paper.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Let's see.
I love it when a script's like, this monster has horns and eyes everywhere. Just, do whatever you want. Like
Yeah.
after that. And it's like, ooh, I'm going to put arms in his shoulders. I'm going to put eyes in his shoulders. Why? Because they let me do it.
Okay, I'm seeing the 9x12 mixed media pad, 15 sheets, Drew.
Yeah. That's different than what I have.
Yeah, it's 184 pound.
So it's twice as heavy as what I've got.
Yes.
I'll try some of that. I mean, I really love that canson paper. Like, I love the texture of it. I like the weight of it. I like how it takes ink, and I love the way it takes the color pencils because of the texture on it.
Right, yeah.
But I'll try something else, like maybe. So I really want to do some of them Lee Weeks tone paper with white. But I can't do it on the sketch. I tried on this sketch paper. It just has no tooth.
Right.
And it's just like it does. So when you try and lay down the white, it goes on so flat. There's no like real, like I have to press down, and it's too much of a hassle. I may do sketches on it, just like use it as like a sketchbook.
Right.
But I don't like sketchbooks that big. Big ass sketchbook, man.
Yeah, it's big sketchbooks are. I usually wind up buying them. I get an impulse, and then I don't even use the little ones sometimes.
I like odd shapes, like long oblong ones, square ones, and it's like I feel like they make you think differently. Like approach art differently because the size you're working at, you're like, oh, it just makes you see it differently.
Yeah, but don't do a commission on an odd size paper because people freak out.
Yeah, unless you're a creature box.
Yeah,
then you just take whatever's there because you're like, this is awesome.
It's funny because you probably know like I do. It's like, people want 9x12, 11x14,
11x17,
11x17. Other than that, it's like, why is it off? Why is it 8x10? And it's like, well, that's the pad of paper it came in.
Or 6. They'll take 6x9 because it's the half of 9x12.
Right. Well, these little ones that I do here on this mixed media are 6x8.
Wow, that's interesting. That's an odd size.
I don't know why they just didn't do it 6x9 too.
Yeah, that's I sell some 6x9. Sometimes.
Although you can find frames for these because they're like a photo size.
Take a second. Yeah, they're the standard photo size. Sometimes I'll take scraps and draw stuff. I've drawn stuff on scraps and just posted it online just as fun, and people end up buying it. It's weird.
Just as long as they know it's it's off size, right?
Yeah, I always, if it's off size, I usually post the size. Usually, but there's always exception to the rule. I feel like that's everything, right? There's always an exception.
Because most people want to do go to Michael's and buy a pre-formatted frame, or get an Ayatoya portfolio.
Yeah.
Everything they have in that one is 9x12. And then they'll have an 11x14 or 11x17 with some 11x14s in it.
This is something that Kiritake brush can't do. Lay down like big, like shapes.
Right.
Oh man, just feels so good. I
Some,
tried to do it over here with that Kiritake, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like garbage. Why is it doing this to me?" And then I realized, it's just not what that tool does.
right.
And like, I can't expect it to do what it's not made to do. That's the joy of a brush, man. Like, it can be a hassle when it won't keep its point, but like, if you want like nice organic shape, like you can't beat a brush. I advise everyone who inks, if you don't like, at least because some people are scared of them.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you gotta come on, man. It's worth the like 2 or 3 weeks of frustration until in that moment when you go, oh, I get it, and then it works. It's worth that. It's a lifetime of awesomeness after that.
And then the next 30 years of trying to master it.
Yeah, because you learn new techniques. Each brush is different from each manufacturer.
Yep.
Like the Sharps have that nice long. You get nice long thin lines. Like easier than doing it with a Windsor Newton. Windsor Newton sometimes, man. Like lately, God.
Well, I found that when I was doing stuff for Disney, they were, and I think the one guy gave me some. They were using these real cheap, and they're called a liner brush.
Yeah.
And they're long and thin. But man, you could really get that thick to thin Disney bounce line,
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
I have a couple liner brushes. I just haven't used them. Like, here's one right here. Check it out.
yeah. See how long the brush is?
Okay, I have used it. I lie. Look, it's covered in ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be brown, people. That's black. I haven't even cleaned that. Take care of your brushes. Don't be like me.
Be like me.
Yeah, clean them like John, because John's a pro.
Well, I sometimes I never let one like sit and dry with ink.
I don't usually, when I first started inking, I'd leave my ink well out all the time.
Me too.
Not anymore. I'd be damned to do that. That's expensive.
Yeah. I used to always just leave the cap off the ink of that Pelican yellow label A, and it never seemed to affect it.
It's really thin already. That Pelican stuff is thin.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, it's like you can leave it out to thicken, and it's still thin. I have a giant bottle of Pelican. Giant in comparison to like most bottles now.
Right.
Like back in the day, like you could get I have a big thing of Speedball like you have,
and
the Kohinoor.
Yeah.
I have a big ass bottle of that too. That stuff's waterproof too.
But see, here in Florida, with the humidity and the heat, it can get gunky.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, even if I'm using it, like I get like almost, I'll get like halfway through, and all of a sudden I'll pour some, and it's almost like it's becoming tar.
Yeah, and also sometimes your paper, being in humidity and heat, gets soft.
Yep. Get too much water in it.
Yeah, it's like I didn't realize that. It was an old video that Adam Hughes did like maybe 10 years ago. And he was talking about that. And I was like, that's BS. But like as soon as he told me, I noticed it like one humid day. Like, and it was even air conditioned inside. Didn't matter. It was like, 90% humidity outside. And yeah, it was just like the lines just weren't weren't crisp in the way they usually were. And then a few days later, the humidity dropped and it was like a different thing. Like everything was different. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess
it worked.
I guess he's right.
Good morning, Dr. Kaz. How are you today? Good morning, Ken. Good morning, ALD.
Jay Lee's right about using a brush and speed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like there's like if I was doing this with that Kuretake 50, yeah, I'd still be down here. Because it just doesn't give you that nice flat, like organic shape.
Right.
But it's nice for like these contour lines,
Oh, yeah.
and speed lines and these hatching lines that go straight down. Cool for that stuff, but man, you try and draw some mountain ranges on a monster's back, you better pick up something else. Not that you ever have to do that,
Right.
but I do. This is a lot of fun. It's cool though because this is a splash. I don't get to do a lot of splashes. They're like lost art.
Yes. Yes. And unless you're Jack Kirby, then you always have that 2-page, you have your sometimes that was a, splash page on the front, and then you get the 2-page one.
Yeah.
Or he would open up with like a 3 or 4 panel front page, and then he'd hit you with the double page.
Yeah, I did this book called Terrible Lizard, and that was our formula.
Doing the Kirby thing?
Yep, the 2 double page spread, the splash to double page spread. Particular Cullen, he was like particular about that. He's like, yeah, every issue is going to start like this.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was cool. Like, and he had like the one really big action issue. It was like 10 splashes. I think it was like 2 or 3 double pages, and then like 10 splashes. It was fun actually, because it was just like wham bam.
Right.
It wasn't like we were telling a lot of story. It was just fighting. Monsters running into each other.
Didn't John Byrne do an all splash page issue of?
Yeah.
Was it FF?
He did it on. I know he did it in She-Hulk.
Okay, She-Hulk.
Maybe even Namor. He may have done an all splash page. It was like all like I believe it was all flashbacks and stuff.
You could be right. Yep.
It was in the 90s. You could do, man, in the 90s, for all its crabbiness, people really they really experimented, with like different ideas,
Some good, some not so good.
Yeah, some horrible. But that whole like splash page issue, if you do it right, like you get like a lot of beautiful work. If you're not doing it to be lazy,
right?
Like people, I don't know. For me, splash pages is a time saver, because it's really just one big image. You put a lot of detail in, but sometimes those panels, ugh.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
9-panel grids and ugh.
I really like that this weekend at the I think it was the Kirby Museum put that little graphic up of like Jack's favorite layouts or his most used layouts.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that was cool. And the funny thing is they're simple, but they work every time.
Doesn't Wally Wood have one of those too?
He has like 20 or 22 panels that work every time, like what you can put in a panel if you have. And basically that's for, I think it's for talking head scenes to kind of, make the scene interesting.
Yeah, that's tough sometimes, especially not just because it's tough because it's just talking heads, but because you fall into your own laziness. Like you go, oh man, I got a deadline. like I could just do heads here.
Right.
I guess it's not laziness. It's more like a necessity because you're like, man, I got 2 days to do these 4 pages. So I wish I could do something crazy here, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes though, like if you get used to using different angles and different compositions, it becomes second nature. So when you get to those scenes, it's not quite as tough.
Right.
But if you're in a crunch, man, I mean, like you know how it is sometimes, John.
Hey, shortcuts are necessary sometimes.
That's why we have comic book shorthand. Why everybody has that same curvy hand, and all of a sudden everybody's got fists.
Yeah. Now, Rod asked a question about to both of us. Do we have a suggestion for an ink to use with a brush that is waterproof and alcohol marker proof? I don't know about. I haven't found one that markers won't pick up.
Right here. I have one that's not waterproof, but it's marker proof. Like Kuretake Sumi ink is alcohol proof. This right here.
Okay,
this Tachikawa Jet Black.
Is that the one in the little bitty?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. It's waterproof and marker proof. It's great.
You know, what was I gonna?
You know how terrified I was doing an ink wash on it? I was like, this is not gonna work. And it was fine. I could have dipped it in a tub of water. It would have been fine. It was amazing. And it's super flat. So I don't know if it eats your brushes up yet, though. I haven't used it long enough to know that. You know how some inks will gunk your brush into garbage pretty quick. That Sumi ink can do that if you don't clean it like pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a little thick.
Yeah, it gets like you said, gunky.
Yep.
And it gets shellac too. It gets that nice shiny shellac to it. Sometimes if you go too thick. Oh, excuse me. Allergies, I think. All the trees are blooming here. And beginning of March is weird for here.
Right.
But yeah.
Now,
I'll take the warm weather.
I didn't know, or I would have done like Stelfreeze. I finally got him on the phone last week and talked to him for a little bit. The Holbein ink.
Yeah.
You can't get the black bottles with the little black square anymore. They discontinued it, and now all their ink is going to that acrylic.
Ugh.
I thought they were just coming out with acrylic ink and that, but no, he said they're the other stuff because I have like 2.5 bottles of it.
Yeah.
He said, well, treat it like gold because he said it ain't, you can't get it anymore.
Oh, that's happening a lot now.
I don't know why a lot of people are suddenly thinking acrylic ink.
It's probably cheaper. Acrylics aren't an expensive medium, I mean, they can be, but that's anything. Just but a thing gets popular, it gets expensive. But I mean, it's not like some of the ink refinement process. It's probably expensive. While they can create the acrylics cheaper, probably faster too. That sucks, though.
Yeah, like I said, I saw it advertised and I thought, okay, they're just getting in the game of acrylic inks now because,
I like acrylic inks for what they are. Like, I mean, because you can do a nice underpaint with acrylic inks.
Right.
Once they're dry, they're dry. They aren't marker proof. I'll tell you that. I have a bunch of acrylic ink that it's fine with washes. But you put marker, the marker will eat up that acrylic ink. It'll just start breaking it up. I mainly noticed it in large black areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. So I stopped using it because I was using like this right here, this Liquitex acrylic deep violet as like an underpaint for a little bit right here. And then I have like a sepia tone that I was also using, and a vermilion that I was using. And those are Bombay inks, I believe.
Right.
But
I like this. The matte finish, Dr. Martin's
yeah,
very matte finish. That's what I love about it, but it gets tacky.
yeah.
And I also like, you've probably used this too, Drew, the Winsor Newton ink with the little spider guy on it.
Yeah.
This is what Jay Lee uses. So I started using it and I like it, but I can't remember why I stopped.
It's expensive.
Well, I got about 3 bottles of it. Whenever I buy ink, like if somebody I know that I can trust their opinion, I won't buy one. I'll buy like 3 bottles or something. That way I'll have it.
It's smart.
Because if I really like it, I don't want to have to like reorder.
Yeah.
And if
I'm
don't
gonna order some more of this ink for sure. I still have a bottle I haven't opened. This one I'm almost done with.
Really? That's that first little bottle?
Yeah, that's the first little bottle. I'll probably finish it. Not today. Even though I'm putting it down pretty thick right now.
I'm surprised you've gotten all that work out of that one first little bottle.
Yeah, and and I haven't had to. You know what it is, John? You don't have to go over it again and again.
Right.
Like you do that sometimes, right? Like where areas you can see where it's just thin.
Right.
But since this is so matte, I don't know. I don't have to go over it twice or touch it up so much.
Well, this is something I noticed, and maybe you have too. But when you're doing commissions, the people that get the stuff want it to look like, they don't want to see like the brush strokes and stuff.
I haven't had anybody say anything, but I tend to not have them anyway.
I haven't had anyone say anything, but here's where I first noticed it myself too, is like whenever somebody would put up a Mike Mignola original from Hellboy, they would always like make the blacks incredibly black. Like it was like
sometimes he was using Sharpies.
Huh?
Sometimes I thought he was using Sharpies on those fills.
Right. And then I think Mignola started putting his own scans out, and he uses Higgins Black Magic to fill in his blacks.
Oh, okay.
And you can tell, it's like what, 80% or something. It's not black. But
no, it's not.
The way he fills in his blacks, I love to see that because it's very painterly.
Yeah,
it's like little chips of white, like light in there, and
give it air.
I've done that before too. Just as I fill in the blacks, I'm like, I try to be conscious to let a few little.
Yeah, let it breathe a little.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of air.
Yeah. Sean Gordon Murphy's that's one of his things, right? Like he has it's got that nice air in it,
Right.
It's like what I say noise.
Yeah.
Like you get that because most paintings you just add even if it's flat, if you add some noise, it just makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like your eye goes, oh, I like that. I think that's why. Not the only reason. Like Matteo Scalera's work is amazing.
Yeah,
compositional, like everything about it. But that added noise he puts in there with the splatters, even when it's unnecessary, he does it. But it makes it so visually like impactful and interesting. Yep. So why wouldn't you do it all the time?
adds that little oomph to it that takes it to the next. That's why I say on your Red Skull, the splatter on that was like a perfect splatter.
Oh, thank you, sir. I consciously thought about that. Like, is this enough? No, it's not enough. But it's too much. You got to slow down. Because it gets fun putting that stuff in. You're like, this is just amazing. And then you're like, crap, that looks like garbage. Why did I go that far? But that worked out fine. I feel really lucky. I did not expect a response from it, to be honest, John.
Well,
I posted it, right? And I didn't see anything. I was with my friend. Like I said, I went out. We went to the cigar lounge again, and we were talking. I was there for like 3 or 4 hours. But I looked at my Twitter, and I was like, dang, my Twitter's blowing up. I had no idea. I thought it was like Feature Friday. And then it was just a bunch of people saying thank you and like all those when people feature you. So I just thought it was that. So I was like, man, that's weird that my Twitter's blowing up like that. But I didn't look at it because I was hanging out with my friend. I don't like being on the phone when I'm hanging out with people. I think that's rude, to be honest. So I got home at like 10:30, and I look at it. I was like, dang, Adam Hughes, holy shit. And then I saw all these people. I saw all these people like responding to that one drawing, and I was really not surprised, to be honest. It was a nice way to end the day.
And you know what? Now I'm thinking I have that. I forget what issue it is of Captain America that Buscema, John drew it. His brother Sal inked it, and it's got the Red Skull in it, and it's probably it's around that time he was doing Silver Surfer and stuff, so all the figures are so graceful yet powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the way the limbs, the way he stretches them, it's like you can feel the stretch in the arm or the leg, but you can see the muscle. And
yeah, he did a Thor annual that I go back to all the time.
Is that the one he inked himself?
Yes, with the Mephisto.
You know, I think that was around in the 80s, and I think I saw some originals to that.
Oh God, I could imagine. That's one of my favorite things he's ever done. It has that like stone tank in it that he did, and Ulrich.
Is it Mephisto sitting on his throne like on a splash page?
Yes.
Yes.
It's got all the like faces and the rocks and stuff. It's great.
I think that job, those pages were in Ralph Macchio's office, and I think I may have had photocopies of like the first 10 or 12 or whatever.
Oh, that's gold, sir.
Because they were very, as long as you didn't
give them out or anything, right?
Well, not only that, but as long as you didn't stay gone with the pages for like an hour.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they had a photocopy machine. You could just run across, and sometimes the editors were like, see you like it. Yeah, it's great. Go make some copies. They encouraged it, kind of.
Well, you could practice on it.
Right. And I know some artists that didn't like it, though, when an editor would let you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I get that, too, because it's work that's not published yet.
Oh, okay. Especially unpublished. Like if it's going to be published and it hasn't.
Well, and what can happen is if you've got a job that's going to be published first, and let's say you borrow a pose. And then their job comes out and it may look like, I
will say that happened a lot in the 90s.
Yes.
I'm like, man, that is a total like swipe of this thing. And I'd go look at another issue and I'd be like, oh my God, it's the same thing. Different costume, but same thing.
So I kind of see, where the people were coming from. And when it's put in that perspective, I'm sure you can too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the swiping thing. Like, I get using photo reference. That's totally fine. But like I like copying another artist's like even like panel like line for line almost, you know?
Yeah,
That's like what kind of person are you to do that? That feels like stealing.
it is.
It's like you can tell a story yourself. Like it's better to learn from it than steal it. Well, that's just me. Maybe
Well,
it's better to steal it.
no, the thing is, that's why, when I was a kid, when I was like 15 and 16 and stuff, I would sit down with like a comic book and I'd find a page and I would try to recreate that page, line for line and try to get the lettering spaced right. Just to learn from it.
Yeah. I mean, like I showed you, I still copy my.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, but also like I also don't put it out there as my work.
Right. No, it's your own personal like, study book, That's why people do master studies of good paintings and stuff, so they can kind of figure out, why did people made decisions they did.
Yeah, I tell people all the time who want to learn like comics and storytelling, and I tell them, look, man, sure you can look at all those like really dynamic poses and all that, like that's the flashy stuff. But like go to a scene where two people are talking in front of a refrigerator and like drinking a cup of coffee and like watch like the angles that an artist chooses, why they chose those things, like how the conversation's flowing between the two characters and like their interaction with the environment and each other. Like that's where you get the real like the real storytelling. Like the dynamic stuff like the punching and stuff is cool, but I mean our minds are already so attuned to that, right?
Right.
Like because we focus on it. It's the small things that take time to learn. Like why we make figures bigger than other figures, like how we push dominance of one character to another, and how mood changes, all that stuff. It's not the stuff you normally talk about. So when you get a portfolio review and somebody actually pays attention to that stuff, that's when I go, hold on, like like let me really look at this, because like you really put a lot of thought into like your storytelling.
Sure.
But it's rare though; it doesn't happen that much. It's mainly just people doing glorified pinups with panels in between for fodder, and sometimes you're just like, oh, yeah. And you don't want to tell some people that you're like, like you don't stand out at all. Like this is, it looks cool in some things, but then like I don't really know what's going on. What's happening here?
Well, what's happening is
I gotta add some splatter and some. I got lightning at the top. Ugh. Ugh. I have to definitely get off at 1. I got to go to the post office. I have some overseas packages.
right.
Yeah, so I already have everything filled out and ready to go. I already did all my priority domestic packages there. I just have to drop those off. But you can't do the overseas stuff online anymore.
Yeah, I know it.
So that really jacks me up because now I have to stand in line. I don't like that.
Yeah, I was gonna make sure I got off directly at 1 too, because it gives me time to if I want to break down the setup here, I can. If not, I'm just rushing out to get Jacob and then rushing over to get Bella, and then I'm like crazy tired from making the drives. But
yeah, I get that.
Noah came in. Noah, do you want to give your yard sale artist spiel to the morning crowd here?
Is he gonna rap?
No, no, he came into my stream on Friday night pimping for Jared, and he actually did get a sketch page. And I told him, I said, Jared needs to have an affiliate link for you.
Oh yeah, he gets like a Jared Albright influencer badge.
Yeah, he needs to like every third one that he pimps on another show and Jared gets, Jared should do him one for free or something.
Sounds like we're pimping Jared.
Well,
Get him working. Oh my god!
I think ALD, was it you that picked up a sketch page?
Yeah, acrylic ink and
Yeah, he did. So he dropped Noah's name to Jared when he bought the page. Good.
I haven't done any traditional pages in like I want to say at least a year and a half. Like this is kind of crazy.
It's a new experience for you, right?
Oh, it's so much. I love it when I actually when I have the time to do it. But then what happened, to be honest, John, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got the comps for issue 7.
Yeah.
And there was some line work I did not like. And that's my fault, because I inked it.
Right. The digital line work.
Yeah, it was thick and clunky, and it pissed me off because I shouldn't treat myself like that. So I was like, you know what? If I have the time, then I'm just gonna do it traditionally, because you get into that mode with the digital stuff. Since you can't see the whole page most of the time,
right.
You don't realize how thick or how clunky the lines can get. Mm-hmm. And you just you're done. You finish the one panel and you're like, okay, I'm done. And I should take time and just look at it as a whole. But sometimes you just don't have that time. And,
yeah, I get it.
But I didn't like some of the line work in it. It kind of upset me. So.
But then you don't have that anxiety that I used to get when I would try to go to sleep and there would be a couple of lines on a page that I would keep getting up and I would erase them and redo them. And, I'd think I got it right and I'd go back to bed and then I'd be like, those lines look better, but now these look bad.
Yeah, because now it's not consistent.
Yeah. And at the end, I'd wind up staying up too long, and then overall, it was no better than if I would have just left it alone.
Went to sleep. Yeah,
but I couldn't. I could not relax until because that one little area would be on my mind, and it's in the big scheme of things, we know it doesn't matter, but we zero in on it. That
issue will come and pass, and I know it. And it won't be that big a deal because I mean, it wasn't the whole issue. There was just a couple scenes where I was like, oh. I
get it. I will turn stuff. I've turned stuff in, and I'm like, man, that's I wish I could rework that, but run out of time, right? So I had to turn it in. Then by the time it comes out, I'm like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I remembered.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is as bad as you remember.
Yeah, this one came out as bad as I was just I was not happy. Let's just say that. And the thing is, like I said, probably 80 to 85% of it's okay.
Right.
But it's those 2 or 3 pages that it just it bothers me. I'm like visibly upset when I see them because my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Did someone like miscolor something or do like put a balloon over something I killed myself on?"
Right.
And I was like, "No, they're usually like because the people I'm working with right now are awesome, so that never really happens." But it was me. I was like, "It's me." I'm I'm like pissed off about this. Uh, I feel like I could have done better. So, like I said, that's why the traditional stuff.
See, what I got here is I did two. Well, I didn't mean for it to go 2 nights, but I did. Sometimes I'll do a quicker $30, and I'll first class. I'll just do the. I think it's $1.60 now for shipping. It used to be like 140, 145 last year. So I did these Friday and Saturday morning. So I'm
That
done
one
with it.
is beautiful.
So I got Howard. I got Shredder. I got a Symbiote Spider-Man. ALD got one or two in here. Got a Punisher. Got a Batman.
I like the shapes you have in that Batman.
Yeah, I do too. These are my quicker ones, so I can't spend as much time. Although you know me, I get carried away.
One second, I gotta check the front door.
Okay.
I think the Amazon and drop something off.
Captain America profile. Which ones did you get, ALD? Did you get one or two? I can't remember. But I'll get these hopefully on Wednesday. I'll get them out.
Oh. Okay.
You get your delivery already?
No, it wasn't. It was just my dog being my dog. I got a new desktop.
Oh, okay.
I have an extra 24-inch monitor just sitting here. It's been here for a while. But I've been working off my laptop and I've had this laptop for like 10 years, but I've upgraded it and changed out everything in it. So it's a beast, but I don't know. I felt like lately with me having to color more because I'm coloring covers for the Vampirilla thing now.
Right.
It's not that much of a beast. Like it just can't handle it. I mean, it can, but it's not. I don't know. It's not as responsive as I'd like it to be.
Right.
So I'm giving this laptop to my wife, and she's like, "Oh, is it just old?" And I was like, "No, it's really powerful. All you're going to be doing is watching movies and being on social media."
Right. Yeah.
It is. It can handle that.
You could get a Chromebook for that, you know?
Yeah, I was like, you're on your phone most of the time doing that. Like, so I'm giving this to her, and then I'm gonna set up this new desktop. I got a good deal on it, and I upgraded. I got some upgrades coming as well with it, like separately. So I have to install, and I'm not maxing the RAM out at like 32 gigs, but I've got it at like 16.
Yeah.
And then I've got like a 4 gig graphics card.
Right.
So I don't want that sitting on my porch because my neighborhood man.
The one I have unboxed in my office is a 32 gig of RAM, and yeah, I really, like I said, when I get that thing set up, it's gonna be blazing.
Yeah,
it's this past December. It's been a year since it's been sitting here.
Why? Oh, you should set it up, man.
I don't have the table and the time to do it yet. So
yeah, it's gonna take me a day to set it up, and then I got to move all the programs and
Storm Shadow.
Oh, I like that.
Snake Eye. Yeah, these were a double. Captain America front view. Iron Man. This is what ALD got in the. And a Bane. So these, I try to do them quick, and they wind up taking me a little bit longer than I like. I'm just, I'm not as fast as I'd like to be.
I was gonna say, like, well, you'll get there, but you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I tend to get too finicky with everything. So now I'm going to kind of sketch out my Captain America. I got to do that sketch for my 400 subscribers. So,
oh, nice.
Gonna get an idea of what I'm gonna do here for it.
Yeah, I sold a Star Wars cover this weekend.
I saw that.
Yeah, we were really fast. I wasn't expecting that either. But yeah, I've had it for a while because with Lucas, they have first right to refusal.
Right.
Like you're not allowed to sell it. And I've been waiting, oh God, almost a year now. And then the guy who runs it, Leland, who does the art stuff, he was just like, I've never had it take this long. Like we're kind of in unmarked territory at this point. So he's like, what I'm going to do is, if you have any offers on it, like within 10 days, if we don't counter offer, then just sell it, man. So I told him, I was like, I don't have any offers because you guys told me I couldn't sell it.
Right.
So why would I don't understand why I would even try and get offers on something I'm not allowed to sell. So it's just been sitting on my bookshelf, I have 8 pages or 10 pages too, that I did do those traditionally because I knew that Lucas would buy them.
Right.
So it's been a year since I've done traditional inks in a comic.
Wow, that's a while.
I did 1 page of issue 2 of this series, just because I thought it was a cool looking page, and I just thought it would be nice to sell it, and I did. Yeah, man. And so it's been way past 10 days. It's probably been like a month. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm selling it. I'm selling it." If we could sell it, and it was a quick sell, which I don't know. I just didn't expect that. I never expect that, John.
I never expected either.
When it happens, you're just like, wow. Then you kind of think maybe I should have upped the price a little, because it wasn't even like it wasn't even like one of those things where like, yeah, let me think about it. He's just like, cool. I was like, what?
Like, where do I send PayPal, right?
Yeah, that's what he said. Do you take PayPal? I was like, Jesus. I thought we were going to negotiate a little. But, okay. Oh, this one's I want a nice gray in there, but I don't want to use lines or tone. So, roar. See, there's little red Sonia down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably get in trouble for this. There we go.
You can always bring it in Photoshop and do your corrections if they have any.
That's what I'm gonna do. I thought the same thing. I was like, if they want anything different, when I first started doing this full time, I didn't do anything digital. It was all traditional. And then I got this one job, and it was going great, no problem, And I got this one job where it was like every panel was a correction. And even after they approved them, it just never was right. So I bought a Cintiq because I was like, this is not happening again. I can't. Like, I'll kill somebody before I let this happen again. I have that one project. I have like all these little pieces of paper where I was redrawing panels and stuff. Oh, like I said, I'll kill somebody before I go through that again. That's a threat. Put me on the board on that for that one. I got a cop that moved in across the street, so don't say it too loud. That's why it's an EMT, I think. I don't know. I'm doing that spying thing you do to new neighbors.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you're trying to Sherlock Holmes it, so you finally meet them, and you can go like, I knew it. I knew you were a cop, and I also knew that she was an EMT.
Yeah. But the weird thing is they're wondering why you're at home all the time.
I bet. They're like, this dude's well, no, like that happened at PTA meetings all the time. I told you, they'd ask me what I did, and I'm like, oh, I draw comics, and they're like, oh, like Batman and Spider-Man, and I'd be like, no, like The Crow and personal, like create your own projects, and then all of a sudden they look at me like, oh, I get it now. You're just a bum. And like the whole mood would change. Like they just get uninterested in like anything I had said.
Right.
God, my hands getting tired already. Yeah, it does. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the texture in that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's how I did the Red Skull with all the little, like the controlled white like that.
Right.
It was this thing, man.
I knew it was. I was like, man, he hit it perfect.
That the guy who showed me this thing, what's his name? He used to do cover art for Valiant. He messed it. Like I didn't really know him. Like we knew each other online. He messaged me and goes, hey, I think you dig this. And it was a link to this thing.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I totally would like that. And he goes, yeah, I thought you would because, you do like splatter stuff all the time. And he goes, but I'm going to warn you, it's really fun and you can overuse it. So, like, don't do that. He's like, just trust me. Like, just don't overuse it. And he was right. When I first got it, I used it on everything.
Well, like we were saying, Mateo, he splatters everything with black and white and sometimes gray and.
Whew. Yeah, he gets into it. I can appreciate that. Plus, like I said, it's fun. Works your forearms and jeez. If I had the black, where's my black paint? The black Posco markers. It's not as intensive because the paint markers spread way faster. This is a Prismacolor marker, but the paint markers work like paint.
Right.
I don't know where that thing is. I have all the colors, but I can't find my black one.
That's for when you go out graffitiing at night.
Oh, God, I used to love graffiti art. I was a huge graffiti guy. I like Von Bodie or Baudet.
Yeah.
He was Cheech Wizard and all that.
Yep, I know.
I was really into that in the 90s. And I always did a song where they
I was around when he was still alive. Yeah.
Oh.
I remember buying the stuff at a local head shop. The guy there would let me buy underground comics. He knew I wasn't 18. I was like 17. 16, 17. So he was, he was like,
what shops will do, man. Like owners, they get to know you,
yeah,
Like I told that story, getting the 5 for $1 comics, and I got almost a whole run of Power Man and Iron Fist. I
right.
know that guy put those in there for me. He had to have. There's no way that all those Power Man and Iron Fists make it into that room, and all together the way they were.
Right.
And he even let me pay for them later because I was like, I don't know, 10 years old.
So you paid him off last week, right?
Yeah, I know, but no, they were 5 for $1.
Man.
So, yeah, I got a bunch of like old Captain Americas and even some Amazing Spider-Man but mainly the Power Man and Iron Fist, and he even put in some old Master Kung Fu and the Deadly Hands, those old magazine size ones.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
And Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, because when he saw I was in the Master of Kung Fu, all of a sudden some Deadly Hands showed up in there. Because I went there the same time every week. I ended up working there for 5 or 6 years in high school and college. He's still open.
Is he?
Yeah. The guy's still open. Dave Weaver at Bender's.
Well, the only reason I went into this place is because, it was the little strip plaza is still there. And I would go by and I would see like they had, from the outside, I just thought it was comic books. But, this is when they could actually display bongs and stuff in the window. I don't think they can legally. Well, maybe they can now again. I don't know.
They're tobacco pipes, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
how you word it.
I went in and I would kind of just, I'd be browsing and looking at Fritz the Cat and the Fury Freak Brothers and all that stuff. And so finally, and he had Cheech Wizard there. And so I brought one up to the counter and he kind of looked at me and I thought, oh, I'm dead. And he goes, "You're 18, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right." And he rang it up and he put them in a bag and he said, "Just don't tell anyone you got them here." That's also he also carried, and I never really bought it, but you might remember. And
what's that?
Jack Katz's The Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy ever finished that or not.
That happened a lot in the 80s and 90s too.
Because he was doing like 100 issue, I think it was 100 issue thing. And it was kind of based, I think it was like loosely based on his life story or something, but it was set in a different era. I don't know. I can't remember now. I just kind of remember that he was really, out there self-publishing, and maybe someone in the chat room knows a little more about it or can remember. I don't know if we have anyone old enough. Of course, that doesn't matter these days. You can
just look it up on the internet. Everybody knows everything.
I mean, it may have completed, or he could be dead now. I have no idea. I just, I thought it was a cool idea and I don't think I was that interested enough to buy it. I just thought it was cool that this guy
I don't think I bought it either.
I just thought it was cool that he was doing it.
I think I've killed this one.
The mark
squeaking now. I think I've overdone. I have another one. I keep a spare just in case. I might have to buy a new spare because I may have to use my spare.
Hello, Scott Evans. Scott came in the room and said weed is recreational in Michigan. I think we know that. And he says you can display bongs here. ALD wants to know if you have a convention schedule this year, Drew.
I'm only cons I'm doing so far. I have Tidewater Con in May. I'm doing a little store event. I think George's is going to be there, and a bunch of people like a bunch of it's a big shop. So I think it's like Mark Deering's going to ride with me. He's going to be there, but like some surprising names. If I can remember, I'll look it up. But there's a really good group of artists going, but it's only for a day. I'm doing Heroes for sure. I'll be there. And if you're going to South Africa, I'll be there, baby, if this coronavirus thing is. And Memphis Comic Expo in October. I'll be there. And Hampton Con, which is 10 minutes, not even 10, like 3 minutes away from me. That's in October as well. But that's it. No one's invited me to anything. And the ones that have invited me, all invited me when I'm not going to be in town. Like, they invited me to their shows, but it's over spring break, so I won't be here. So Heroes, Tidewater, South Africa, Memphis Comic Expo, and Hampton Con, and that's it.
You know, I did Tidewater once, and I know Mike Federale because Zach and I did his Savannah show last year.
Yeah.
I like Tidewater.
Yeah, that's like 20 minutes from me.
It's a nice area there.
Yeah, that's where I used to work IT in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake area. So I'd be on First Colonial, which is an exit before where that con is. Yeah, Virginia Beach is nice. I don't know. It's like you live here. Like people tell you it's nice.
Kind of like
live here. So
kind of like
Daytona. I'm sure it's the same way.
I'm like, I wouldn't live here probably if I didn't grow up here, but I don't know where I would live.
Here, I'll show you that. Little splatter. Little gray in there. Up at the top, some lightning. And that page is done.
Done. Well, let me ask you this.
What's that?
Do you want me to do the screen share and you can go through the Red Skull?
Sure, if you want. I don't know. Sure.
I mean, I think there's enough interest if you want to just kind of, tell the people that are interested, and we'll show it off a little bit too.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to show it off.
It's like I gotta learn how to handle those kind of, like, I don't know, like when people, like when you do something that a lot of people end up liking,
right?
It's like weird for me because there's been years where people didn't care what I do. So, like when people like something, you're like, oh wow, that's weird. And lately it's been nice because I don't know if like maybe I've gotten better, or I'm sure I have over time, or like maybe my following has gotten bigger, so I just hear it more often. So I don't know. I'm like in this weird area where I gotta let myself take compliments. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you mean. Like I said, I have that,
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't deserve any accolades that I get.
Yeah, but that's crazy to me because to me you're like a inking legend. Like I don't like it baffles me when you tell me that because I'm like, God, this guy doesn't even know. You've done like so many key issues and like I said, your technique. I mean, is one of the best. So it just blows my mind that you don't realize it. But then, you know, I think a lot of people may be going through that too.
And then there's some that don't.
Yeah. See the pencils on this Red Skull. I actually adjusted.
I'm gonna go full screen on.
Oh,
so that we can see it bigger here. There we go.
I adjusted. If you can see, like right around his neck, there's this like white line here. It's because the head was too small, so I put it in, and I just made it big. I enlarged it by like I don't know, too much. Then I had to shrink it back down again. That's why that edge is there. So it's like I increased it by like 10%, and then I dropped it by 4. And then I had like it was a struggle, and then I drew the hands too small, so I had to make the hands bigger too. I don't know why I drew the hands too because I was using photo reference. Okay. So in the photo reference, I drew the hands as I saw them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I didn't draw them to the size of the figure because I was photo referencing the hands, not the body. So I drew the hands too small, and so I had to move them. If you can kind of see it on the hand on the right, his left hand. There's like a where it's kind of broken up a little because I had to like increase the size of the hands. And that's probably why that pinky is going over the cube a little. But right. I like that. I like that it was doing that.
So this is for people wanting to know, this is your digital pencils.
Yes. And then it there's like a lot of things that the reason the hand on his left hand, on your right side, I like the overlay because it creates that depth. And it also the asymmetry of it,
right?
Not like perfectly symmetrical, because I felt like his face was very symmetrical. That's why on the left side, his right side, the smile goes up higher. Because I wanted to break the symmetry.
I noticed on this line that goes across the cube, you got 2 little dots. Was that the?
Oh, that's because I actually drew the cube in perspective.
That's what I thought. I thought those were the lines that would go back and connect.
Yeah, back here, and then the 2 lines on the bottom that go back, creating the actual cube. But I didn't need that because I knew I was going to be painting that over.
All right. Yeah.
And I kept the folds really simple.
Yeah.
Like you can see in the inks. Because I knew that when I colored it. Like I would.
And I was just going to say, so, I switched to the inks. You put it on the nice light blue paper.
Yeah.
And it looks like you inked everything but the cube.
Yeah, because I knew I was painting it.
Right.
And then I didn't put deep shadows in because of the emanation of light. I don't feel like it was like I wanted it bright. Because if it was like a kind of like a solid light, it would create darker shadows, and I would have done like a deep shadow on the arms, and then down here in his stomach, and probably at the top of his skull. But I was planning on doing the background black, and I thought that would be too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So all along on this piece, you knew the background was going to be black.
Well, I'm sorry. I was like, what'd you say?
I said all along you knew the background was going to be black on this.
Yeah, because the other one I did wasn't, and I didn't have the balls to do the other one all black.
Okay.
Like I didn't have, like I just wasn't brave enough. So on this one, I knew it was going to happen.
Because you could kind of see it on the other one that it would have worked well, right?
Yes, it would have, but I had already actually I had already committed to what I had done.
You did like a pencil gradient or something, right?
No, I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was just the way the reflection on the paper or shadow.
Yeah, it's just the light. Uh, I think I took a picture of that while I was in the car, so you're getting like light from the window.
But it really did look. I thought you put some like pencil and kind of shaded down.
Nah, it's a good idea, but I didn't.
All right. So here we have
That's like the middle of
right.
the mark. Like these gloves aren't colored. I only have the high and the mid um, in on any of this. There's a couple of the shadows in his face, but not really. Like this is where I'm like, I hope I can get this cube right. Like,
So you started out with the light green for his suit and then cut in the shadows with a darker green, right?
yeah, I did like a chartreuse, which is a yellowish green.
Yeah.
Then I put in a leaf green, which goes towards olive, so more toward a warm. And then his face is a, I want to say, what's the name of that? It's like a reddish. It's not even a red. It's carmine red.
Carmine, yeah.
And then I go to a crimson, and in the back is a raspberry. Eventually, I'll do a dark umber as a shadow over the red. And then, and you know what I do after I do that? I go over it with a poppy red, which gives
over everything.
Yeah, over his whole face,
except for the yellows.
Except for the yellows. The yellows, I actually did the teeth. Well, it's not here, but in the final piece, I do the teeth and the eye yellow with Colorase color pencil. Oh, I guess that's where I use color pencil in the eyes.
I swear, I thought you like went in with light pencil on the middle because it really started to have that glow.
No pencil in the middle. That's all marker.
And it's amazing how your eye will fool you because the blue, if I go back to, this, as soon as you put
the same paper, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and it could be lighting, but still, you don't think there would be that much color change, right?
No, your eye makes it change.
I know it.
Adding stuff.
I looked at that and I'm like, wow, he did the whole background like a lighter color now.
What's his name? Adam Hughes explains it. Like he back in the day he did these videos and he's like he doesn't like some of the stuff people see in his stuff isn't he never did it.
Right.
It's just your eye makes that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of use that like if you put the mids, the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights in, everything in between, your eye does that on its own. Like your brain makes that happen. As long as I hit the right places, your brain will fill in everything in between. And sometimes to a startling effect, like where people are like, "Oh, like you thought, like this, boy, you did this all in pencil here when I didn't do anything."
We just had Genome just came in, and so did Don. So good morning to them. Or let's see, what time is it there? It's more towards afternoon.
It's 11:40, right?
Yeah.
Well, Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. And well, that's what or is it Eastern Daylight Time now? See, I just go with the EST. If I add it, sometimes I'll just put Eastern, because I get confused with the Eastern Daylight Time and then the Standard Time. It's like, no. So then we go to the completed piece. And unfortunately, I can't zoom up on this like I could on my phone to like really see.
Yeah, the painting and all that stuff.
Right. And just
his eyes are pretty cool.
The perfect amount of splatter is
the splatters are really
I'm fanboying out on that because like I said, it's literally it's the right amount. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's perfect.
It came out all right. The splatter, you can't really see all of it. But yeah, when I did a close up on Instagram
Yes, that's right.
Just because of that. Because I knew you couldn't see it. Yeah, that ink is really matte. Like, it's pretty good. There's a little shine on it. It's not bad.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually packed up and ready to go. That's one of the things I'm mailing today. Um, yeah, that open acrylic took forever to dry. God.
Did you get the hair dryer out?
No, I didn't. I should have. I didn't want it to crack.
Right.
With watercolors, they don't do that. But yeah, the acrylics will crack sometimes. So.
Well, didn't you tell me the open acrylic it's a heavier, right?
Yeah, it
Like
stays
a heavy
wet
body,
longer.
but it'll stay where you can like move it a little bit longer.
Yeah, because it's got a medium in it that keeps it wet. Like if you see this is the open. I'll show it to you. You can see it. The
Yeah,
open acrylic,
I'll go back to
like,
here we go.
that's from Saturday. It's still wet. Like,
Oh man, yeah.
so yeah, I can put some water on that. It'll reactivate.
Right.
To an extent. That's open acrylics. Open acrylics, yeah, it's like oils. They stay wet longer. So it allows you to like do what you usually it's harder to do with acrylics unless you add a medium or you're really fast. But blend it while you're painting. So you can blend it on palettes and paint it, but if acrylic dries, it's done. There's no like moving it after that.
Right.
But if it's an open acrylic, you can play with it.
And I don't know if you're seeing in the chat, but your skull there that you just went over is getting a lot of love.
What's the red skull?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think that was, maybe that's the piece that's going to put you over the top.
Maybe, yes.
Because it's like it does seem like there's always like, there's one breakthrough piece sometimes. That's all it takes.
Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know anymore, John.
Hey, I feel you. I sometimes I feel like, wow, that's I really like this piece, and then it falls flat on. I mean, it'll get a little bit of recognition, but it's like, Well,
to that, what you were saying. Remember last week I drew this like Dark Knight in pencil.
Yes.
And I drew this pixie in pencil.
Yep.
I don't know if I was on here, but I had posted it last week. I drew them at the same. I drew a black cat.
Yeah, you drew the black cat here.
Yeah, but I did a pixie and a Dark Knight the next day, and the Dark Knight,
fantastic. The Dark Knight was fantastic.
Yeah, people really love that one, and I got a lot of response from that. Right, man, I prefer that pixie one so much more. Like, I don't know why. I enjoy drawing that a lot. I thought, and what I was really trying to do is like, I think I still have it. I haven't packed that up yet, but I was really working on like the soft values,
right?
And it was really important to me to get those, and I did it. I did it, and I was happy. And that drawing got no love. Like in comparison to that Dark Knight, which was that one took no time. Like that Dark Knight thing, maybe 10 minutes. And I actually took like 30, 40 minutes on this pixie one. Because like with this one,
let me zoom in on it so the people can see.
Like the soft values in her face.
Right.
And in her lips. And her nose. Like I wanted to make her soft. Without any like real strong lines, and it just didn't translate to people liking it.
Well, do you think it has something to do with the popularity of the characters too, though?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that
one though. People were all over that thing.
Yeah, you could have sold a lot of those.
That and the Dark Knight. I think like the Dark Knight is some. Oh, I already packed that one up. That Dark Knight somebody got. They bought that. The Pixie one is a Patreon, but the Dark Knight wasn't. I was just drawing that to draw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just a warm up. And then when I posted it, somebody's like, "I want that." So, yeah, I'll sell it. I have no shame. I'm like a artistic whore.
Well, I used to actually on my websites or my blogs, my tagline was just it would be John Beatty, and then underneath it was art whore. I literally put that, and so a buddy of mine was having me at his comic book shop down in I think it was Fort Pierce, Florida, at the time, and they made he had a few other people came in, and so he had like badges for our table, and it said John Beatty art whore, and I just thought that was the best.
You know what? It's like I just don't covet my art.
No, I totally get it.
Like I like it. I like doing it, but then like
why do you think I got no art? I got no art left over from the 80s.
Here, I want to check out this book, John.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's take a look at how this is coming.
This
wait, that's a different book.
No, this is the one I've been working on for like a year. So when I have free time, which I don't have now, but I'm going to do it anyway. I
thought you were going back to the Heroes Con book there for a minute.
No, this is a Batman blank, and every once in a while, it's all filled with. It's going to be filled with completely with pencil drawings, and then I'm going to sell it as a whole. But I'm not going to put anything on the cover, and the person that buys it will be able to choose what they want on the cover.
I will PayPal you $50 for that right now.
No. Yeah, but I have I really go crazy with the pen. Look, you can even see where, because I didn't know it would do this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because there's a Mad Hatter.
Nice.
And then I haven't finished his Two-Face, but it's getting there. I almost don't want to finish it because I like how his
you know what?
Is just fading away.
I don't know if you need to do any more on it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way it looks, but I'm gonna fill this book with Batman characters.
I was watching that Nick Runge was I got his watercolor portrait thing.
Yeah.
And he was painting, and he said, I could stop on this and be okay with it right now. He goes, sometimes you stop and it's right,
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about that. He's right. Sometimes you're just like
I'm looking at it right now, and that tells the story, Yeah,
I may put a little bit more detail,
Well, here's my only qualifier for that piece. If you hadn't done the first two, so rendered, I think it would be fine. But it seems like the Man Bat and the Mad Hatter have a certain level of finish to them.
Yeah, I kind of went crazy.
So you kind of are committed to the whole book.
I even put the veins in his.
Right. So what I'm saying is you're kind of committed to the book being at that level of detail,
Yeah, and it's an experiment. To be honest, I want to see what one like.
ALD says, "Don't finish that Two-Face."
I don't know. I want to see the market for this because I have a bunch of these.
I don't know if I have any blank. I've got like boxfuls of blanks that I need to go through.
Well, I have a bunch of these Superman. I have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman.
Right.
The whole book's blank. And if it I don't even know what to sell this for.
Well.
What do you sell? I mean, there's going to be, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, it's 24, right? 24 pages.
Plus the cover.
Go ahead.
eBay.
Am I going to price myself out though? I mean, 14 drawings is a lot. So am I ever really going to get what it's worth? I
You
don't
know
know.
what? By the time you finish it, you probably will be able to, because it'll still take you. What are you shooting to get that done? End of the year?
I know I'm not. This is just a fun thing, so I don't have any time.
All right, but I mean, realistically, could you finish it by the end of the year?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Then, you know,
I think I started it in September,
right?
and then like I just got busy, so just haven't had time. But like I I finished that page, so I have to scan it in. But my camera, the laptop only has 3 USB ports. So the camera is in the one that the scanner's in, so I can't scan it in right now.
Right.
So it gives me time. Like I figure another hour, I can play around for an hour. I'm allowed to have a little bit of fun, right?
Sure.
Maybe not. I don't know. Somebody will message me. You could have been working on my thing, and then I'll just feel bad.
And you'll be like, I am working on your thing. I'm mentally concentrating on it.
It's like, you can't even get half an hour to yourself without feeling guilty. Somebody will make you feel guilty about it.
I know. I get that guilt, but I also,
Yeah, it's a bit much sometimes. Here you go. Here's some old school stuff here. Usually do this with a razor blade, but I only have a box cutter on me.
Hey,
I cut this yesterday. Old school, like art school pencil sharpening.
yeah, oh yeah.
Once you learn it, that's something you don't ever forget how to do.
That's because you draw fancy. You're one of those real artists.
Is that what it is?
I guess.
I wish.
You're one of those guys that
I used to call this C.P. Wilson, Charles Wilson. He does he did Nosferatu. What else? The Stuff of Legend. He's a Kubert school guy, and a friend of mine who went to the Kubert school that we're pretty close with knows him as well. But I knew Charles from the message boards.
Right.
He knew him from school. And like we both had the same thing. And this likens to your real artist. And we always called him the artist because he's like always working on getting better.
Right.
He always seems like he's getting better too. So yeah, we always called him the artist. 1 second, man. I'm gonna mute it because my wife is calling.
Okay. Well, that's it's a beautiful red skull that Drew did there, and the sketchbook he's working on is an excellent idea. And yes, you're right, Don. That is how you sharpen the carpenter's pencil. The good old flat carpenter's pencil. Just take a knife and whittle some off. So I'm actually playing around. Let's see. Okay. I'm actually playing around with a Captain America for the sketch cover for the 400 giveaway. I'm doing it. Well, I don't have to, but I chose to do a cap. So I am figuring out. I think I want to have Cap in a nice cross arm pose. All right, Drew, you back?
I am back.
All right. And it's like Don said. What you were doing is that's how you sharpen a carpenter's pencil, and I was saying that's right. The good old flat carpenter's pencil.
Yeah, yeah.
You just take your knife. You just take your knife and chop a chunk off, and
yeah, but then I don't feel special, do I?
you're just a carpenter.
I don't feel like fancy artist guy anymore. No, I do. I don't know when I started drawing like this. Like years and years ago for sure, but I don't know why. Like something happened that I started drawing like this, and maybe I read about it or
You saw Lee Weeks at a convention, and he was sketching.
Oh, does he draw like this too?
I don't know.
Like I just know that maybe my art teacher told me I should do this. I don't remember. All I remember is I just got better, more natural lines this way.
I've seen people do it, and I'll tell you the most recent, and when I mean recent, it's probably been about a year and a half or so. I remember seeing that guy on YouTube, Proco, drawing with, an extra long lead and, drawing from the shoulder and stuff.
A great teacher. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he did that either. To be honest. I know it's easier to draw, like, let's say, because I usually draw like this. And it's easier to do this. Because, like, when you're drawing at an incline like this, it's hard to draw like this because your wrist doesn't bend but so much.
Unless you got a wrist like mine.
Yeah, sure. But if you hold it like this, like you also don't have to turn the paper,
right?
And to be honest, like doing this, like you take the time to really, I don't know, work small areas instead of like rushing in and doing these large spaces with all this pressure, because you can't put so much pressure like this,
right?
And see, like even now, just doing this, I was able to work the muscle that goes over this area, over the bone, the cheekbone. Like just even doing like that, it's the subtlety of that I would never get like this. Not me, maybe because I have big dumb hands, but my wife says I always do that. Like I can't compliment myself without tearing myself down a little. I don't know. I guess I do that. I don't do it to other people though. So, like I know people like that who are like they'll give you a compliment, but then they'll crush you a second later. And that sucks, man.
Sometimes I do it, but it's only on purpose. Like I do it to Jared.
Oh yeah, well you have, to be honest, like you guys, even your friends, you guys kind of have that, like if I feel like this mentor student thing too going. And as I grew up, I always saw like mentor student relationships I'm not going to say abusive, but they can be abrasive in a sense. Not in a bad way, but in a like, hey,
I got it.
Too big in your britches.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I know. Let me read. Don't finish that Two-Face. I know, right? I think it. I don't think I'm gonna finish it all the way, man. I don't know. ALD collects. I'm sorry if I don't know it. John probably knows your name, and I feel bad. Uh, but I'll probably only go, but so far with it. Um, looks cool though, right? And I know the guy's not watching. There's a guy who messaged me on Instagram. I should wait for John for this. I'll wait for him. But it offended me. He sent me a message that actually offended me, and that's hard to do because a guy once messaged me like repeatedly to tell me he ate asses.
And okay, I just unmuted and came back to hearing that.
Oh no, this guy sent me a message. I'm telling you, like this guy sent me a message that offended me like horribly. And I'm saying is I've gotten messages from this one guy who continuously just said I eat ass like over and over again. And that didn't offend me at all. I actually thought that was kind of funny. This guy told me he's like, man, because I do my pencils digitally, right?
Right.
Most of the time. But he had, I don't know, I want to say the nerve. Because it made me mad. He said that he thought I traced all my drawings, like from I guess reference, and I got really mad. And I did. I said I do use reference a lot, but tracing it, like, why would you have to do that if you could just draw it, right? Like,
hey,
a lot of times with reference, it's not exact reference.
Right.
You just want kind of a perspective on it.
I'm going to show you. You see what I'm drawing right here? Okay. Here's my iPad.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what it's for.
On it.
That's reference.
Right.
That's exactly, John. That's how you do it. And it looks great, but see, it's your interpretation of that, right?
Right. I mean, like I still haven't got everything correct, but if I was to try to draw this without a little bit of reference for points and stuff, it would be way jacked off, or that didn't sound right. It would be way jacked. Let's not put the off.
Well, and so I've been doing pencil drawings like that black cat. I got this message right before I did that black cat the day before, actually. Because I kind of wanted to show, like, dude, like you're telling, I don't know. I felt like he was saying that I couldn't draw. And if he's watching, man, go F yourself. Because that sucks to say to somebody. Because I know what you're implying. You're implying that I don't know, that maybe I'm a hack or whatever. I don't know what you're implying, but I know you're trying to insult me, and it worked because I was angry, which I shouldn't have been. I should have let it go because it's probably some 13-year-old kid who's just like, I'm gonna just piss this guy off, and he did. He made me mad, and maybe because this is my job, and that's why it made me mad. Like, I don't know, and I worked really hard to like get better. So
hey, did I tell the story when I don't think I did when you were on the stream, but I was looking at Brian Stelfreeze do a painting of Belle, from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, I was gonna say that, but
it's on YouTube. And he's got his phone out, and she has a rose, and he Googled a rose on his phone, and he's painting from that rose on the piece. So I mean, Brian, Brian is a great illustrator.
Yeah, but he doesn't have every rose in his brain.
No, he knows the best way to make that illustration he was doing at a show is to Google a rose and find one and use it. You know,
why would you?
Right. It's like, I'm not tracing this guy. This is stock photo that I got. And
with him, even if he did trace it, I would be like, well, he'd probably render it in a way that no one else would.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always that. But, I mean, I just use that for these poses with the arms crossed, I find very hard. And, there's no guarantee that I'm going to use this. I'm just, I saw that and I thought, hey, that's kind of it's almost like the Spider-Man I did, but flipped. And that was from reference. But, I kind of think, Cap standing there with his arms crossed, it can very, very buff and stuff.
Yeah, I think that, and it looks good. I mean, you stylize it, and you take out details, and you add stuff.
And I'm also making Cap a lot bigger than that guy was,
Oh,
so,
yeah, but you have the structure, and that's all you're looking for.
Exactly. Because I have a real problem with the way the neck connects into the traps and stuff. That's always been this area has always been a problem for me.
Yeah, well, and the connections are where, connections are important.
Right.
Usually, young artists don't. The main problem they have is their connections.
Mm-hmm.
Where joints meet joints and arms connect to the body. It'll throw a whole drawing off,
Right.
So yeah, but I shouldn't have gotten mad. Is my point. But
yeah. What I'm hearing is you had your Walmart moment.
Yeah, I was pissed, man. I was like, you know what? I didn't say anything to him. I wanted to be like, dude, I don't even feel like I should dignify this with a response, but me responding like that is a response. But you know what I did? I started drawing more pencil drawings, and doing that Black Cat live,
right,
was important to me because I know maybe not that he saw that, but to me it was like, hey, dude, if you want to go tit for tat, I'll show you. But I shouldn't even have done that. It's real childish of me. But man, I don't know why. It just made me so angry. God, you work 20 years, 30, about 20 years, 22 years on refining what you do. To have somebody just be like, you're a fucking hack. Sorry about the language, but you're just a hacker. You're just tracing stuff. I was like, man.
Hey, all the greats use. I mean, you know what well, you probably don't, but before Google, trying to find reference for a specific vehicle or a boat or something was, you're buying a book for maybe one photo. You're laying out $20, $30, $40 for reference for, you're going to use it for one comic book. And that's when Pages were paying me, maybe $40 or $50 to ink a page.
Ugh.
It's I mean, I get it. If you take your own photo reference and trace it off, I don't have as much problem with that.
I don't have any problem with that.
Because you're interpreting your own vision to begin with. Yeah. I don't really care for people that take a photo and trace it off exactly. Now,
yeah, I think it loses something.
Yeah. Having said that, I've done it on a couple of Stallones for Zablo. Not Stallones, but I think I did it on the John Wick. I'd never done Keanu Reeves, and I think I did just a quick. Actually, what I think I did is I printed out. I did a digital comp. I scribbled on the back with this is real old school. Scribbled on the back with soft graphite.
Oh, okay. And then used it as a tracing paper.
Yeah, then you trace some lines, and you never get all the information. You always have to go back and redraw it.
Yeah.
So
I do that when I paint. I have actual paper for that, carbon paper.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I've traced cars in for car chases. I'm
Cars
sorry.
cars are not easy to draw.
Well, that and if you got to draw a Chrysler 300 like 12 times in 6 different ways, I don't have time for that.
No, you
Like
don't.
I got deadlines, man, and that would take forever. So like you find a adequate drawing that's at the perspective that you're drawing at anyway. The buildings in the background and such. Or sometimes you even match the perspective to that drawing, like to that picture.
Right.
So you could just use it. I've done that, but even that's not a direct trace. Mainly you do like the shadows and the hard contours, and you kind of just fill in the other information, because one, you don't have time to trace a car, like for line for line.
Ray Dog has come in. Hello to him. And let's see. Rod says the old masters use camera, the Lucy's,
Yeah,
and camera obscura. No one says they cheated or traced.
and that's Norman Rockwell's whole career.
Exactly. And Drew Struzan.
Oh yeah, he does that that's how he captures those likenesses so well. But he also
Yeah, he can actually, he's a painter too.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist.
Right. That's commercial stuff, and he has to have those likenesses down.
Yes, and there's no play in that. And even if there was, he adds so much to every drawing. Like no one else can interpret a drawing like he does. Like not like his way. People have come close, but I mean, all you say is, "Oh, that looks like a Struzan."
I really, with all the cool photography filters and tricks and stuff, I got to admit, I really miss the 80s and into the 90s when there was like real art on movie posters and design. And now it's just like,
yeah, there's not many. Maybe one or two every few months you'll get something neat.
Yeah, and they may not even be, up to snuff.
Yeah, well, they don't have the market, as in the artist to even do it anymore.
Right.
The market kind of died out in the 2000s. Yeah. Everybody uses that same template,
Oh yeah, the head thing.
Yeah. It's like Oily Moss. He was doing some cool stuff, but that was all limited edition stuff.
Right.
It wasn't like general release stuff.
Let's see what Drew's got going. Can you up that? Can you bring that up a little? There you go.
So I think that's I didn't go too tight with Harvey's side.
Right.
But I tightened it up a little. There's some hair here. And what I'm going to do with this is not detail the hair at all, but shade in the negative of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you had there was enough, but like I said, since you really went hardcore on that book to begin with on the first two,
I kind of committed to it, didn't I?
Yeah, it would almost look like, okay, I did two, now I'm going to be lazy. And I know that's not true, but it's like,
it was kind of enough.
It was.
But to a collector, is it? Maybe not, This is what this little thing is good for. Adding them highlights.
Oh, is that little eraser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to clean up those, and then in the teeth.
Well, I guess, Drew, since we both kind of have to cut out, if you're pretty much done with that, this I've got to sit on, think about, maybe look at a few other poses before I commit. So we can definitely wrap up, and that way we're both on time schedule wise.
Yeah, I hope the post office isn't crazy busy. It's Monday though. You know how Mondays are at a post office.
I do.
It's just
that's why Wednesday is my day that's kind of, it's all over the board. So I try to, I'll come down here and I'll try to get everything wrapped and get stuff mailed out on Wednesday. The good thing about that is usually Wednesday is not a busy day at my post office.
Yeah.
The bad thing is if some of this stuff is going far away, people may not get it until Monday, because especially these that I did, because they're just going first class. AG, if you're in the room, did you finally get your Violator? I think everybody had got their ones that I sent out last Wednesday by Saturday, but AG was still waiting. Or maybe he got it. No, I don't know if he got it Saturday or not. But yeah, I feel bad about it. I mean, he's out in the Iowa or Illinois area, so he's out in the Midwest. But yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, oh God, I forgot I gotta pay for international shipping, and they're 11 by 17, man. Gross. It's like 3 of them.
Oh, that's gonna hit you for about $30 a pop, right?
Yeah, I think so. It sucks.
Well, you know what you do?
I didn't charge that much for shipping either.
Well, you need to start now.
Yeah, it's killing me.
No, that's
like $100 every time I go to the post office.
I know. Well, and that's why my mailing structure now, except for my smaller ones, if people want that, I actually changed it. So here's what I do. Okay, on my 6x8s, if people want to pay an extra $10, because I've mailed enough of them, the price for me to mail that is a little bit over $8. And if it goes out to California, it's in the 9 something range. And that will help. It doesn't cover it, but it helps cover my packing materials because packing
material gets expensive too.
Right. So I spend a couple dollars on just the envelope, the sleeve, the backing board, all that stuff, So I've got another couple dollars just into at least a couple dollars on the smaller ones. So my rate for the small ones, if people want to have it priority with insurance and stuff, just add $10. If they want it, and this was just a thing I did over the weekend. If they want it to come first class, it's no insurance, it's their risk. I'll cover the $160. Other than that, everything else 9x12 up, it's 20 in the US, which goes priority.
Yeah.
25 to Canada and 30 international. I haven't had to mail something international yet, but Mike Zeck told me 30 should cover.
30 will get you to Asia.
Yeah. And
usually it's like, that's for a 9 by, I don't know. I made an 11 by 17 to Singapore, and it was 25.
Right.
That's not with the material.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make money on the mailing. I'm trying not to lose money
for what I have to invest in it.
Oh,
PayPal, a lot of people, they make you pay the fee.
Yeah, I really don't ask for it. A lot of people know just to send it friends and family.
I wish.
Well,
I sold that Star Wars cover.
Yeah,
and I took a hit on that. I was like, whoa.
I know, and I think they just went up on their fees this year too, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it was more like I thought the shipping cost would kind of cover the fee, and I would just pay the shipping cost. But it turned out I came out negative on that. I was like, what? Ugh.
Well,
I would charge more for it, I think, if I'd known I was going to take a hit like that.
AG says he didn't get his Violator. I hope he gets it today, too. That'll make me relax a bit. But like I said, those were all shipped out first class. That was part of the $30 quick sketch deal. The Violator was the one I did last Tuesday, Drew, when we were on.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that one.
Yeah, so that's AG's waiting on that.
We got to do more together, John.
Well, you're busy.
I
And
can't pencil that though. Like I pencil these.
huh?
Like, do you ink stuff that's rendered that heavily?
Why? You know, huh?
That's what I'm thinking. I'll have to do something more like illustrative. Like,
You, I'll tell you what I like.
what's that?
If I like stuff where I get to work with shadows,
Okay.
you know, that's why.
Weeks.
Yeah, well, Kelly Jones. Look at the shadows. You know,
Oh wow, yeah.
Mike Zeck is like he's from the Wally Wood school with all that split lighting.
I love it.
Um,
So if I did do stuff kind of like that, would you?
Yeah, I mean, the open stuff is fine, but for me, if you even look at my own stuff, I'll get in there and really work like shadows.
Okay.
Uh,
I can probably just suggest, and you will just kind of.
Yeah. You don't have to fill in the blacks unless you need to see it for your own eye. But here's the thing: with me doing it, if I see something that looks like off when I fill in the blacks, I balance it out another way.
Cool. Well.
So.
Because I still have like those 2 pads I bought to do that with.
Yeah.
So maybe if I find some time when I'm drawing in the car.
Yeah, just knock something. And
1 or 2.
It doesn't have to be the tightest thing you ever did either. You know, I know you want your pencils there, but I don't need those pencils like some inkers are getting today. I would refuse to ink that stuff, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's just unnecessary.
Like, yeah, you could just, like I said, dial up the values on the pencils and their inks all like
exactly. I've seen so much of that it kind of frustrates me, but it also I feel lucky to have worked in the 80s and into the 90s, and I never had one of those pencilers that were that extremely tight on me like that, because I don't know what I would have done. I would have been stir crazy.
Yeah, when I started seeing that, like you're right around that time, like when pencils became like so tight, they were even dropping inkers for a while because of it.
Oh yeah. There's no reason. I mean, it's like literally up the levels and stuff in Photoshop, and
you're done.
And they started having pencilers work that way, and they were giving the pencilers extra money to make the pencils even a little bit darker and tighter so that they could do that and not have to have an inker. Right. Because the inker's rate would always be higher. But pencilers just started doing it out of not knowing better.
Yeah, because everything is already like that.
Well, basically, a lot of the new pencilers, the moderns, they learned from looking at finished work, and they didn't understand what pencils were supposed to be.
Yeah, I remember when that transition happened, and I was like, man,
I know.
So tight. But you know what the sad thing is? That the editors, I feel like, are kind of the same way, though. They're expecting.
They are. I know they are. It's like I told you, I like Carl Potts, but I think it was you I was telling that Mignola turned in a Cloak and Dagger story, and I was looking through it, and I was just like, wow, this is really great. And I was just, fanboying out over it, and I said, this is a great job, Carl. And he's like, eh. And I said, you don't like it? He goes, it's not finished pencils. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, he didn't fill in the blacks.
That's crazy. Who needs to?
I know. And I didn't say anything to Carl. I let it go. I was just like, it looked like he maybe figured out the blacks with marker on, and he probably lightboxed the final pencils. But even if he didn't, somebody like a Mignola that is used to working with heavy blacks, they can kind of visualize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he knows where he's going with the black and white balance. And like I said, that's the thing.
He's really good at it.
Right. And that's like me as an inker. It's like, if something doesn't work, I can kind of catch it. And like I said, I can figure out a balance. I can add a little more or put some on another side or something. It's like I kind of have that eye for a good black and white balance without having to see it like 100% too. And I think that's why I enjoy working with pencilers that really do a lot of interesting lighting. Those are my favorite pencilers, and I've got to work with them. Mike Golden, fantastic at lighting stuff. I mean, he told me, and I 3 light sources. He uses, direct light, reflected, and ambient light. That's above my grade. It's when you get to the ambient light.
Well, what's crazy is it's easier to do now with digital, working digitally, because you could just take a eraser or a white.
Exactly.
And add those lights. Then you had to actually plan it.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't. I mean, I guess you could use whiteout or acrylic paint, but that's a mess because when it doesn't work out,
right?
Like now it's simple, but back then that's unreal. Like Mike Golden, I mean, you have to be like one of those beautiful mind type people.
Oh, I totally agree. I do not. I mean, in a million years, I could not understand how he even. I mean, the way he poses figures, and then the lighting he puts on them, and the backgrounds, and the detail, and it's still clear.
It's probably second nature to him at this point.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure he has, like, I mean, I've noticed even with myself now, like my friend was like, do you thumbnail? I was like, any of these? I was like, no.
Yeah.
I just, like, I have an idea of what I want and I just draw it.
Right.
And I thumbnail pages because I need approvals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I guess I thumbnailed that Dark Knight thing. But to be honest, it was just to get approval from the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But with Mike Golden, he's probably like, "Oh, I know exactly." Bam,
He's told me before that he sees the drawing in his head before he puts it on paper.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, I got to kind of sketch around and feel it and erase and start over.
Yeah, I'm kind of in his thing. I also have that. Like, I used to do it, and then whatever I put down was complete opposite what I was thinking. Or like it was like what I was thinking, but not really.
Right.
But now it's pretty much what I'm thinking. Only time I play is when I have to play with light. That's when I get sketchy because
right.
I think I can do it. But I'm not 100% sure what I'm thinking that I have the ability yet. That's kind of how that Red Skull thing happened. I wasn't sure if I could pull it off.
Right.
But it worked. So
it did. It worked fantastic, as you saw.
And now I can do, like, I'm confident if I'm doing like a horde emitting light like that cosmic cube. I don't have a problem now. I figured that out. Now I got to do with secondary and ambient light and rim lighting. I got to play with that. And 10 years from now when I get that now.
Well, I think you're probably a fairly quick learner because you're driven.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, I wasn't for a while. I didn't have any mentorship.
Right.
I would have loved that. I still would like that. It's like I had to learn by messing up.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I don't know. My mentors now are kind of my peers, but I still look at them. I mean, it's funny. As much as I've inked Zek, we will still, like, if we're at a convention, Michael asked me about a head sketch or something that I'm going to ink, or he'll say, "Hey, I'm kind of thinking this here. What do you think?" or something like that. And I'm like, "Works for me," And he may not be sure of an area, and he's like, "I'm not sure of this shadow I put on here,"
That
and
blows my mind. Like that he's thinking that. I don't know why, because he like in my head he's like, well,
Oh yeah, no,
it'd be like Art Adams being like, "Hey Drew, what do you think about me doing that?" I'm like, dude, here's what I think.
Why are you asking me?
But no, I guess they're people too. You got to remember that. But they're just so good at what they do.
Right.
It's like, but I don't know. Like Hoyt, he does a lot of work. Like he shares the studio with Stelfreeze, and Stelfreeze has taught him a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I know it.
God, like I would love that some kind of relationship. Like, but in my area we don't have like we don't have a lot of comic artists here who work professionally.
Right.
So I was like, Ron lives near here. Ron Solis. He lives in Richmond, but he like, I don't know. He's kind of like, it's not a full-time thing for him. And yeah, Mark is an inker, but he doesn't really like I don't really consider you just an inker. You're like kind of an all-around artist because you draw well. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that was out of necessity. I mean, I came up in the period of time where inkers had to draw, Yeah,
that doesn't. Now they're more like tech. Well, not everybody. Like Walden is really good. Jay Leinstein is really good. Mark Morales.
But I don't see them drawing.
Yeah, no. Walden will draw every once in a while. You're right. And Mark doesn't draw either. God. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I'm trying to think an inker right now who Glapion draws often, and he draws well.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. I love Mark Morales' inks, man.
Yeah, I do too. Mark's a nice guy.
Him and Dexter Vines. I've always liked Dexter's and Carl Story's inks.
Well, see, Dexter was a guy that I would see him at conventions, and he would always come over and kind of pick my head and show me stuff, and I like Dexter a lot, and I never talked to Carl that much, but he's we've always had a really some sort of a relationship, at least a hi, how you doing, but Dexter, it's I think he was more kind of deeply studying my work when he was first getting into the business and stuff.
Yeah, well, you definitely have a unique, like, I can tell your inks now. Now that right. I've been here watching you and drawing with you, I could definitely see, like before, I could tell when you ink something, but not like now. Now I don't even have to see if it's you.
Right.
I just go, oh yeah, that's John. Like,
well, and that Captain America head that I sent back up to you. It
was pretty cool. It still looked wet. Yeah, I liked it. That's beautiful. Not everybody could do that.
Yeah,
that nice like it's like so organic, but like sharp.
Right, and you also saw some of the little. I mean, and they were very little embellishments, like the black on the mask and stuff. A little bit of feathering or something.
I liked it. It was beautiful. I almost wanted to keep it. No. I was showing somebody it. My friend, I was telling you, who Annual 8 was his first comic.
Right.
Yeah, I was showing him that. He's like, that's the same guy who inked that? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's crazy. Like, he was blown away. He's like, man, that's just crazy. I can't believe that's happened. He goes, that's not yours? Like, you're not keeping that? I was like, no, I have to
I got to package it up and send it to some guy.
Yeah, he was like, "That's really cool." I was like, "Yeah, man, it's pretty surreal at times." Just because, like I said, John, I've known your work since I was a kid. Like I'm talking like 7, 8 years old, you know. So being able to do stuff with you, is
Man,
kind
and I'm only 27 years old, so
yeah, that's nuts because I'm only 12. Uh,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
No, I really the age thing. I'm 58. I'll be 59.
you're not
You
that
know,
much older than me.
huh?
Yeah, like 15 years.
Well, I started when I was 19 in 1980. So,
Yeah, and I started reading comics in '82.
right. And so
'07.
for me, it was like two things great happened. I love the 80s decade. I thought that was a really fun decade full of stuff. And I was working in comics. So this was all in my 20s, really, the whole decade, in my 20s. The 80s was a great decade. I still enjoy a lot of stuff from the 80s, including some of the cheesy music, but there was also some cool stuff. A lot of fun movies came out. But the comic books, I think the 80s was like that last great decade. And to see that stuff and to be working at the same time, to be a fan of it and it's coming out and I'm like rubbing elbows with like, my heroes from, 60s, 70s and the 80s, people were still producing stuff. It's like I met Al Williamson,
That's crazy.
I sat next to him at a convention in New York and I'm looking at his huge portfolio full of original art and I'm like probably 21 or 22 years old and I'm just like I'm stunned, and then his portfolio got lost. He couldn't find it. And I felt horrible. And he's panicking. And I know I gave it back to him, but I could kind of sense there was like this pressure on me, like, where is it?
Ugh.
And finally he had put it behind this curtain. We were sitting against a curtain. And instead of putting it down like underneath the table, he put it behind like on a stool or something. And
but still I would have felt bad the whole time.
I did. I felt like it's my fault that it's gone. I mean, he had Star Wars originals in there and
I have that artist edition, Empire Strikes Back.
He had a ton of I just couldn't believe the stuff he had in there that he was walking around. Well, I guess he was looking to sell it, but still, I mean, it was stunning. And that's where I found out, I started picking his brain about what he inked with. And he mentioned that 104 nib, which is like a little nail.
Yeah, that crow quill almost.
Yeah, but it's even tinier. It takes a different holder. And man, when you first start using it, it'll give you the finest line.
How does it go over age though? Does it ease up some?
Yeah, once you work into it, it gets a little flexible. But the thing is, he uses that a lot for his little dead weight that just needs a little bit of action. He'll use another. Well, that's what I love about his stuff is like, especially the drapery. He'll do that real thin line, and then he'll go in with a real bold line.
Yes, I love doing that. From him, yeah. That is amazing. That whole technique.
And let's see. Rod asked, does Scott Williams draw? He draws a little bit. He draws a lot of profiles.
When he has to, I mean, because Jim's pencils are rough sometimes, dude.
Yeah, but isn't Jim like pretty much just inking most of his own stuff now?
Yeah, now. I'm just saying, like I remember seeing some Jim Lee pencils that Scott Williams inks, and you look at the pencils and you're like, Jesus, that's a mess. But then they'd worked together for so long that I'm sure that Scott just looked at it and went, yeah, I know what's going on.
Well, and that was when I was inking Zek every day, it does become that. You get that good relationship going. Mike trusts me to do, what I can. And when I was up there, I would take advantage of, like, if I didn't really understand something in the pencils, I'd say, "Hey, what is this?" Because I'm not clear. So like I said, that's the good thing about Mike and I still having that relationship today, where we're at a convention. He may explain something to me, like what he's trying to do in pencil, and then he also may say, "I'm not sure this is going to work out. What do you think?" So it's a give and take,
Yes.
And
But
he had this one Captain America he did that he really didn't like, and because he said, and I believe him, he was kind of experimenting with doing like almost an anime version of Cap, like a Mike Zeck anime version.
oh, that would have been cool. Did he do it?
He did finish it, and he did wind up going back and changing some stuff. But I told him, I said, "I like what you got started." I said, "You should finish it. I'll link it." I said, "I'm sure it'll sell." And he's like, "I'm not sure." So later on, he revised a few things that were a little too much for him, and I inked it, and it sold immediately.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, it was really kind of like he was pushing, and I was like, "Let's do it." That's something we haven't done.
You ever see the statue? The manga Batman?
No, that's cool.
Yeah, look at those. Look at that cape.
Yeah.
And then he's got this ray gun with this like almost like octopus like ray, but he's got that 1950s Batman face.
Yeah, he does.
It's wonderful. I saw it at the comic shop on Wednesday or last Thursday, and I was like, "Oh, I must have that." Like that is because you were talking about the anime version of Captain America,
right?
The manga version of Batman.
Hey, there's a store over in Altamont Springs, and if Billy Ray's still in the room, he might know it. It's called The Collective, and they have the little statues. I think they're $5. The little black and white in the bag. I don't know if you've seen those or not.
No. Oh, no. Oh, the tiny ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're about 2 inches or 3 inches tall.
Yeah, they're like the replicas of the large ones.
Right. And they're only like $5 a shot.
Yeah, you could get like a whole pack of them for like $25.
But here's the cool thing. So you don't know what's in the bag, but what they did is when they first started doing it is they just opened one and put it out on the stand. So if you buy a grab bag, if you buy one and you don't like it and you like the one better that's out, you can trade it in.
Oh, that's smart.
It's a cool idea. I love that idea.
It brings back the whole trading card aspect.
Right.
But not having to get ripped off by
because
some guy who's like a swindler, a hustler.
Yeah, because if you've got one and you already have that one and you don't have the one showing, you can like, well, okay, I've got this one already. I don't need two. I'll take the one that's out,
That's so smart.
It's very smart of them. And I think it's a cool idea. I think there's two. I think they did like the first series was like 6 and the second series is 6. So I know there's like 12 out. I don't know if they've done a third series yet or not.
Yeah, I saw a 2-pack. Like they're like, you can get them all collected in like these long boxes. I saw 2 of them out. So like I saw 2 complete sets.
Right.
So I don't know if they've come out with a third one yet.
Rod, I'm not throwing shade on anyone else, but I'm going to agree with your comment.
What's that?
He said, not to throw shade on any other inkers, but in my humble opinion, Zek Art is at its best teamed with you, John.
Oh. It is. When I think of Mike Zek, I do think of you.
Well, I try to keep the stuff that I remember as a kid that I liked in Mike's work, and I see some inkers take it out. You know, Mike has these little Zekisms in his work.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like what kind of makes it work. And when people change an ankle bone or something on a Zek piece,
It's not a Zek.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. Mike didn't really care if that ankle bone was, you know, correct. The drawing as a whole works, you know.
Yeah,
So
I have a drawing done by somebody, and the inker gave a character an afro, and the artist didn't draw an afro, and the inker thought it would look cool. And he didn't like that at all. He's like, why did he do that? He's like, I don't know, but what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. I when I work with a penciler, I try to keep their look in there without overpowering, but trying to keep my look. But sometimes it just doesn't work. I like I said, I've been very lucky to have long runs with Mike Zek and Kelly Jones, and both of them I like as pencilers very well. And the work I got to do over Michael Golden, I enjoyed highly.
Nom, right?
Yeah, and I really, the Nom stuff, the issue 5, he started out doing finished pencils for the first 9 to 10 pages, and then it went to layouts, and his layouts are very linear, and you know, that book got rushed too, so I had to put less and less work into it. But I also, I would like to go back, and I have photocopies of the layouts. I would like to go back and redo a page or at least a panel and just see how much better I could do it now.
If I had the time, I would do pages again.
Well, I would too. I mean, I've thought about it just for, because I'm telling you, his layouts are so beautiful. His drawing is, when you see his drawing in like the stage before he takes it to finish, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's, you know, and like I said, with what I've learned, I was trying to remember in the Nom, I was around 26, 27 at the time. I hit the Zek stuff because I worked on it so much. So, but with Golden, it was a whole different, you know, ball game.
Yeah, they're totally different artists.
Right. And so I like I said, there was a whole factor of trying to figure out his, you know, his look, and also being rushed. So it was not.
That tends to be a standard in the comic industry.
Right. So, like I said, that's some of the stuff I could easily go back and like enjoy re-inking.
I'm sorry, the Amazon guy is here.
Okay. Well, let's just wrap it up, Drew. I guess Drew left, but it looks like he has started another villain, or maybe trying to figure out. Oh, I think he's doing he's got a little statue of Mr. Freeze out.
All right, I'm back.
Are you doing a Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, I got this for reference.
Oh, see, you're cheating, right?
I am. Yeah, because it's totally the same pose too. No, I'm joking. But yeah, and I thought away because I posted those other things online, and a guy said the same thing I thought. That I don't know if you just price yourself out after a while, like you'll never get what it's worth. So I was like, what if I just did one drawing on 2 pages? So it's not like a drawing on each page. You know what I'm saying? So some of them I can just do one drawing and it counts as 2 pages.
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't even worry about pricing yourself out.
You just do it for fun and enjoy that.
And you know what? The worst thing could happen is your kid will inherit it one day.
Sell it. Then they'll get priced out. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Then no, I mean, I want to start keeping a sketchbook again of just random doodles. Like they don't even have to be superhero stuff because I've got like stuff in my head that I just want to swirl around with a pencil or a marker or something and see if it develops into something.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I want to do some personal work, and personal work doesn't always mean it's got to be a superhero.
No. I have a comic I want to do, and it's not a superhero thing. Like there's going to be elements of like heroic behavior, heroism.
Mm-hmm.
But my idea is, it's not like I'm not going to hide it. It's like it's a person who is living multiple lives at the same time in different times.
Right.
But fighting like the same evil, but as different people, but is self-aware of each one. If that makes sense, it's kind of crazy. I've only thought of two of the people, though. One in the present time, and one in the future. One's a lady and one's a young man. Both different ethnicities, both in different times. And then there's a cowboy who's much older than them. I guess he's the third. So far I have a past, present, and future. And eventually, once this resolves, hopefully find out that there's more of these people.
Right.
But it's not like they're superheroes. But they do not. And the cowboy doesn't have powers. He's just a cowboy. But his power, I guess, is that he, like they all do. They all are aware of each other as they in their dreams. While one is sleeping, they see what happens to the others.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other two do have a sort of. Well, one guy definitely does. He has like a bio armor thing, and the girl, she doesn't really either. She doesn't have powers. Just the one. For some reason, I have this image that's pretty gory, so I want to do this story though. It's like I haven't thought of the name of the book yet, but I'm developing the story for myself.
Hey, Tats Comics. Good morning. I guess maybe it is morning where you're at. It's
it's almost 1, John.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When you went to do the I guess you didn't hear me. When you went to get your Amazon, I said we may as well just wrap it up.
Yeah, we should, because I got to go to the post office. I don't want to make anybody else mad.
Yeah, especially yourself.
God, man, call me a tracer.
Huh?
The guy called me a tracer, John.
Hey, the guy at Walmart parked like I don't know what.
Yeah, you almost got into a slugfest with him, you maniac.
There was so much stuff that went through my head. I think it was my son that saved me. I thought about my son and me going to prison for beating some guy up that just did something stupid, and that would not have. It didn't set a good example. But I mean, literally, I got out of the car just to really talk to the guy and say, really, this is. And I should have known better. Yeah, he did park that way, and he didn't move.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It was just one of those things where well, whatever.
Yeah, but it's baffling, right? You're just like,
I just could not believe it. I mean, if it would have been a kid, like a 19, 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I think I would have had a different reaction, but it was a grown man.
Yeah, well.
or he at least appeared to be a grown man.
Yeah, apparently not.
But all right, everybody. Drew and I got stuff to do here at 1, so we're going to head out. I want to thank you all for showing up again Monday. Drew and I might be back tomorrow. You never know.
You never know. I have to be home because my computer. I checked. I think the peripherals are coming today, like the extra RAM.
Right. Yeah.
But the computer doesn't come till tomorrow, so I have to be home.
So if you haven't give the video a like and you like it, hit that thumbs up on your way out the door.
Yes.
We do appreciate you dropping by and keeping us company and listening to our war stories. Hope you get some value out of them because I don't know. I think we're trying to have a discussion between ourselves, but also help you all out. Those of you that are interested in comics and maybe what goes on or what's behind the scenes. And I hope the little step-by-step tutorial for Drew's Red Skull help you appreciate how much work the man put into that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. There. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to say goodbye, and Drew can say goodbye, and we'll be gone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.